They used to call him Grease Boy, because every day after school, he'd be under some broken down bike, covered in oil, hands black with dirt. He didn't mind the name. What hurt was the look they gave him, like he'd always belong beneath things, like he'd never rise. But the truth is, every underdog has a moment when the world finally looks up. And this is his story. In a forgotten part of Detroit, where dreams often stall before they start. A 13-year-old boy named Elijah Carter. He didn't have much. His mother worked 2 shifts at a nursing home. His father, gone since Elijah was 5. The house they lived in creaked when it rained. The heater barely worked in winter, and dinner was often whatever was left from yesterday. But Elijah had a gift. He could fix anything with wheels. Old skateboards, busted scooters, rusted out bikes. He brought them back to life using scrap parts and his bare hands. Not for money, not for fame, but because when the world felt broken, building something, anything, made him feel whole. At school, he was invisible. He didn't wear Jordans, didn't have the latest phone. He stuttered when he spoke, and every time he raised his hand in class, someone chuckled. Not because he was wrong, but because they thought he didn't belong. Why would a kid like you talk about big dreams? They'd say, you're just the bike boy. But Elijah didn't argue. He'd just smile, go home, and work in his backyard shed until midnight. Because while they laughed, he was building something they couldn't see. One day, the school announced a STEM fair theme, Build the Future. Everyone expected the usual, robots, apps, solar panels. Elijah, he rolled in with an old mountain bike. But this was no ordinary bike. He'd rigged it with a self-charging system, a lightweight frame made from junkyard aluminum, and a phone mount powered by pedal energy. When asked what his project was, he simply said, "This is for kids like me, who need to get to school, even when the buses stop running, even when there's no money for gas, even when no one believes we can make it." Silence, followed by applause. For the first time, they saw him. That night, his photo went viral. Someone tweeted, "This kid built a genius ride from garbage." Within 24 hours, his inbox was flooded. A Detroit tech startup offered him a summer internship. A local news station did a full segment on him, and a donor anonymously gifted him a full scholarship to a pre-college engineering program. But more than the offers, what changed was how people spoke to him. Teachers leaned in when he talked. Students asked for his advice. Even the ones who once laughed at him now wanted to sit next to him. Elijah Carter, the boy who once ate lunch alone, had become a symbol of resilience. But here's the thing about stories like these. They don't end with a trophy. They begin with it. Because Elijah didn't stop. He took that internship. He studied, built, failed, rebuilt. He learned how to code, how to weld, how to pitch. At 17, he launched his first non-profit FixRide. They repaired and donated over 2,000 bikes to low-income families in Detroit. At 19, he got into med. Not because of a perfect GPA, but because of grit, purpose, heart. Today, Elijah Carter is 25. He's the CEO of a green transport startup. He employs over 100 people, most of them kids just like he once was. Last year, he returned to his old school, not as a student, but as a guest speaker. He stood on the same gym stage where he once sat at the back row. He looked out at the sea of faces, some still laughing, some still doubting, but in the front row sat a boy, holding a wrench, covered in oil. Just like Elijah used to be. And Elijah smiled, because he knew the next great story had already begun. So if they laugh at your clothes, at your job, at your dreams, let them. If they call you Grease Boy, or Junk Girl, or Nobody, let them. Just don't stop building, don't stop believing, don't stop showing up, because your moment is coming. And when it does, the same people who once looked down at you will look up.